Hey guys, welcome back to another weekend recap video. It's been so long since we've done one of these because I was in New York taking a break from YouTube, and with the holiday season and everything, it just seems like a good time to pause. But we are back. Ken, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. It's so nice to be back. Honestly, the holiday season feels like it's just gone so quickly. I don't know about how you feel, but I feel like it's just gone so quickly now. We're already in the new year. The transfer window's open. I'm not going to lie. I was like more excited for the transfer window to open than New Year. I was like counting down. I was like, happy transfer window day, which is like so cringe. But honestly, obviously everyone knows as a Newcastle fan, that's not something that I tend to look forward to a lot. So yeah, I was really waiting for that to come, to be honest.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about it, to be honest. And maybe my club might be doing some business in the transfer window unexpectedly, especially because of the fullback situation, maybe Lukaku situation. Like, who even knows at this point? But who do you think that Newcastle has their eye on in terms of like realistic transfers to happen this window?
So obviously first day of the window, immediately we went in with a bid for Trippier, obviously from Atleti. So that for me, that was like amazing. And if he's going to be the first signing that we pull off, then for me that intent is incredible. We've been linked with every man and his dog at this point. I think everyone's just like thrown us into the ring because it's like everyone's just thrown us into the ring because it's like, they've got money, they might just like splash it. So Darwin Nunez from Benfica has been mentioned today. Sven Botman from Lille. There's been like loads of Premier League players chucked in there. I just don't know what's going to happen at this point. But apparently, according to like the main people, so like Sky Sports and the Northeast journalists and stuff, we are in the market for around 6 players. If we can get 6 players in January, if we can get 4 in, I'll be over the moon. If we can get 6 in, like that just shows me going forward that the intent of the new owners are there, and it'll be an absolutely incredible transfer window for us. Obviously I don't know where you guys are at the moment because your club the last few weeks is just, I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what a couple of clubs do this time around, I think.
Yeah, and do you think that the new signings might be the difference for Newcastle between getting relegated and potentially coming out of that relegation zone? Because there is a bit of a gap currently, 2 points really between you and safety, but then the next gap is another 6 points.
Yeah, so I think if we still will probably be by the skin of our teeth, if you will. But yeah, we are still within reach, which is good. Obviously, we have something that not a lot of clubs around us currently have, which is money. And January doesn't tend to be the biggest window in the club's kind of season lifespan. So for us, I think that's just going to give us a little bit of an advantage. Seeing how we played against Manchester United the other day, that for me was the biggest statement of hope that I can think of since the season started, that we might stay up, because I thought we played so well. We literally dominated that whole game, and how we didn't win is an absolute, I have no idea. But yeah, I have a little bit of hope now. I wasn't very hopeful at all until that point, but I'm hoping we can do it now.
I see. You're glowing. You're radiating. I do want to talk and kind of pivot to Game Week 21. And I want to ask you like a couple of like, I don't know, key things. We had this segment before and I kind of forgot about it. I want to bring it back and talk about your game of the week, your player of the week, and your goal of the week. So let's start with game of the week. Which one was your Premier League game of the week?
Obviously, so the big one was obviously Chelsea Liverpool. I think everyone is talking about how that was probably the game of the season so far. I can see it. I understand it. And I tend to agree. Obviously, maybe not from my point of view, but from a Premier League point of view and from a neutral watching football, the game was incredible. I really just thought Liverpool had it locked off because they were 2-0 up. And then you guys came back and showed grit and determination despite everything that's been going on in the last week or so. So yeah, I thought that game was brilliant. Obviously, the games are all like a little bit here and there because we haven't had our game against Southampton, which would have been this week. So now I'm like game week 20 was like Man United, but I feel like that was our last game because it was.
Yeah,
so like,
exactly.
I'm all up in arms and confused about the game weeks this time round.
I know. There are
Well,
no
yeah.
game weeks. It's just like games kind of here or there, and then
Games is whatever's there, yeah.
as they come. I do want to talk a little bit about Chelsea Liverpool because, like you said, for me as well, that was the game of the week or the weekend. The game starts a couple of seconds in. Sadio Mane, is that a red card?
Well, I'm sure there's everyone's been talking about it. For me, I just want, I'm not even going to say whether it was a red card or not, because I just want consistency from Premier League referees. That's what I want. We have seen so many idiotic decisions over the last few weeks, and it's just not consistent for me, because other games you would have said, yes, it was absolutely stonewall red card, like that's it. Other games, you've seen them not given. Obviously, we didn't. So for me, I just want that consistency there. You will obviously have different thoughts because, you know, that could change the game one way or the other. And it is a title race, if you will, right now. Whether or not people say it's done, it is not technically done yet. It's not done. So, yeah, I just want to see consistency from the refs going forward. But I'll let you tell us whether you think it's a red card or not.
For me, I think if that happens 5, 10, 15 minutes later, it's a red. I think because it was literally in the first seconds of the game, it wasn't a red. And I think the most, I don't want to use strong language here, but I'm trying to find the right words. Like the most shocking part of it as well was that it wasn't even checked by VAR. And in this game, we had a Mason Mount like decision where he was kind of going for the ball and ran into Tsimikas, and then their legs got tangled. And I didn't see any foul play from Mason at all. I saw him just trying to get up and kind of being like, dude, let me get up and whatever. And he walked away. And that is somehow checked for a possible red card for foul play. But Sadio Mane elbowing Azpilicueta in the eye. You saw Aspi give a post-match interview. His eye was already getting bruised. So, like, his eye was bruised. It should have been a red card. Obviously, I don't want to see red cards in games like this where it could be 11 versus 11 and you want to have a spectacle. But Aspi said it really well in his post-match that at this point you are, you're allowing really like strong play or physical play, and like they know that the Premier League is physical, but it shouldn't be to the point where you can receive an elbow to the eye. Like that is foul play. That's strong. That's a red. And like you said, like him and Thomas Tuchel both stated that there needs to be a lot more consistency with the decisions that are made, because in a single game you could have fouls that you could have in this game, especially Chelsea got a ton of yellow cards. Liverpool had way more fouls and didn't. I think they had like one yellow card. So it's just like inconsistent in the way that the decisions are being made in games, from game to game. Everything is inconsistent, and that's the biggest issue that I see right now.
100%. And I've seen a lot of people say it was a natural movement of the arm. I don't think it was, in my opinion. I don't think it was an actual movement of the arm. As you said, totally agree. I think if it was at any other point later on in the game, I think it would have been a different story, because the referee would have looked at that and thought, he doesn't want to dictate the game from that point onwards. However, I think that you should be making a stand at that stage, because for me, I totally agree. As you said, elbow is foul play. I think that depending on the situation, this is what VAR's brought in for. And that's what I mean in terms of, I don't want to say if it's a red card or not, because what I believe is totally irrelevant right now, because the referees just aren't putting into place what should be the laws of the game, if you will. We saw so many bad things over the weekend. Like, honestly, well, not even just over the weekend, just over the course of the season. For me, any other time, that is a red card, in my opinion. But for some reason, it is the laws of the game are not being applied correctly in certain situations, and I'm not sure why, but it's got to improve going forward, because that there, in your guys' mind, depending on whether you think it's a red card or not, that could have been the game for you. You could have had a little bit more of an advantage.
score the opener. Like, he should never get on the pitch, and he scores the opener.
So yeah, it's a complete joke, really.
It was a complete joke, but I do want to talk about a little bit about the game. Chelsea go 2-0 down. At this point, I was thinking surely the game is over. But we go on to score 2 magnificent goals, and that kind of brings me to my goal of the week. I think both of those goals could be the goal of the week, but that Kovacic goal could be the goal of the season. Like, it was just that ridiculous. I have a hard time thinking of better goals than that. And that the Salah goal that he scored right before, I thought was very well taken. And then Kovacic does that kind of coming off of a free kick. He's running backwards, hits the ball, and it was just magnificent. So was that your goal of the week as well? Did you have a different goal of the week? What are your thoughts on it?
That was my goal of the week. I just thought the technicality of that goal was just phenomenal from a player like Kovacic as well, who hasn't necessarily been the most, I guess, loved player in the Chelsea squad. He hasn't been hated or anything, but he hasn't been the most. No one said, right, we need Kovacic to start, at all, until the midfield started going a little bit downhill later on down the line. And then obviously everyone was calling for Conte and Kovacic to be starting. I think it was just so good. It was so unexpected. Just simply for the fact it was the equaliser, obviously Pulisic's goal, and the whole crowd was just going absolutely insane for that goal. That was just amazing. But Kovacic's goal, for the way just everything about it was just so nice. And yeah, it was definitely mine as well. It was a goal to appreciate.
And it was needed because I had felt that Chelsea were the better side. Even after we conceded the first one, I think that it was a silly mistake by Chalobah to think that he could head the ball. He wasn't 100% fit. He's been playing through injury. And I think the team kind of took it like, it's fine, let's get something. And then we went 2 goals down, and I kind of felt the shift. And then we just needed that moment of magic, and Kovacic was able to give it to us. For me personally, my player of the week is Kovacic. I usually try to pick different players, different teams, but I just felt like this Chelsea-Liverpool game had everything. And the amount of work that Kova put in, I'm going to try to find – I should have had these stats pulled up, but I saw them. Let me see if I can find his stats in this game were absolutely insane. Conte as well, I thought was brilliant. But if we're just, let me see if I can find it quickly. But he was just first for everything. Oh, they've tweeted so much. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Oh my God. Well, there's a heat map here, and you see Kovacic versus Conte, which is so telling.
I genuinely think he had one of his best games in a Chelsea shirt against Liverpool. I honestly think that. Because it was just such a standout performance. It was just a different. Honestly, as soon as that second goal went in from Liverpool, as you said, the whole Chelsea squad would just switched on to something completely different, and Liverpool were chasing the game after that. So it was really good to see that you had that ability to come back, despite, as I've said twice already in this room, despite what's going on at the club at the moment, despite the the media speculation that's been going on for the past week, despite the injuries, and despite, obviously, I know everyone hasn't left for AFCON yet, but that is coming up. So the looming AFCON situation. So yeah, I thought it was an unbelievable game and really, really good show from Chelsea after that.
Yeah, totally agree. And I found what I was looking for. Kovacic is game by numbers. 100% tackle success, 100% take-ons completed, 100% aerial duels won, 13 duels won most, 11 ball recoveries, 11 final third entries, 6 tackles made most, 4 take-ons completed most, 2 shots and 1 sensational goal, 0 fouls. Absolutely jaw-dropping. So what a performance from Mateo Kovacic. I do want to pivot off of Chelsea because I've talked about Chelsea a lot. I tried to make this show more about the Premier League, but just so happens that my team had the big game of the weekend. I do want to talk about Everton. They lost another game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a missed penalty. They dropped to 15th in the table, just 1 win of their last 5. Are they in danger of being relegated this season? Is that a crazy question to ask?
I don't think it's crazy, just given their form and the way that the the league table at the moment. At the bottom is very, very close. There is gaps building now, but I don't think they're in danger of being relegated, but I do think they probably will be there and thereabouts if nothing changes soon. Because if you look at that Everton squad, I know that I was speaking to a couple of Everton fans a few weeks ago, and obviously our game against them was postponed because of COVID outbreak at our club. And they were saying that, they've had injuries, there's players playing out of position, the summer window wasn't great for them, and Rafa went for like Rondon, for example, who he knew, who was never going to come into the Premier League and set a delight again after a few years away. And I do understand that. The only thing that they have going for him, and obviously Rafa, I know Rafa, is that defensively they will be reliable, and that helps every single step of the way when you are in a relegation fight or, at the bottom of the table. Looking at that game, you would say, well, they're not very defensively sound. It was 3-2. Yes, I get that. But in games where he needs to play a low block and needs not to have those results, he will do it. I think he'll be fine. I do think that he's probably now on a downward slope. I think his time's probably, he's not going to last till the end of the season unless there's a huge turnaround. But there's issues at the board with Everton as well, and the board aren't great. They don't like handing power over. They dictate a lot of the signings, I believe. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. But it's so sad because I love Rafa as a person. Like, just he's honestly like the person that he is. He does loads of charity work, like loads for the community that he lives in, and he's just like a really nice man. And obviously, we have him in our hearts a little bit, just simply for what he put up with Mike Ashley. So yeah, I don't want to see him fail, but I do think it'll probably be his last big job, if you will, if this is the end, I guess.
Yeah, I think that I think it's like surprising the position that Everton have found themselves in, because they were kind of on the up and up, and obviously Carlo Ancelotti left them, and I thought that they were very strong last season, but it's just pretty shocking to see like the difference that season has made with Everton and the formation that they're playing in, and how they seem to keep conceding goals even though they're trying to be more defensively minded. I think they played a back five in this game, and that the attack just isn't coming together so much, and they have really, really talented players like Jamari Gray. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is back, so that's going to be a boost for them as well. I do want to talk about just one more game, keeping it short and sweet in this episode, and that was Arsenal-Man City. Obviously, I think Arsenal were a bit unlucky to lose to City when they looked like the better side. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I thought Arsenal played extremely well. Obviously, like the fans were holding call after the game, like because they were saying, I'm really proud of that performance, and everyone was like, "How can you be proud? You lost." No, they can be proud because I thought they absolutely, for at least I would say 60 minutes, they absolutely dominated that game. I just thought the complacency came in a little bit towards the end. Obviously, they were playing with 10 men. Complacency is always going to happen because you are playing with less men, obviously. So yeah, I thought they played absolutely incredible. I really thought that it was going to be at least a draw for them, and it was just obviously the last couple of minutes of the game, Man City ended up just scoring the winner. That was so funny because Rodri couldn't take his top off, and he like literally needed the help. It was making me laugh so much. But yeah, I thought Arsenal played incredible, and they were really, really unlucky not to get at least a point out of that game, I think.
Yeah, it kind of gives me the feeling like, are Manchester City inevitable? Like they just seem to always get a late winner, or if they're winning by 1-0, they're going to hold on to that really tough 1-0 win. They're not going to concede. Just seems like they're going to win the title yet again. I don't see Chelsea or Liverpool catching up. There's like a 10-point gap at this point. They would really, really have to slip in order for either team to be able to even compete at this point.
And yeah, in the second half of their season, they very rarely slip in the second half. It's normally the first half. They struggle a little bit this first half of the season for some reason. And then the second half of the season, they just end up going on these, winning runs. And I don't want to say it's over because it technically isn't. But like, as you say, the gap is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just not looking like anything other than another Man City league again. It's just so tiring, man. It's so tiring. I want the title race this year.
I want I miss like when Leicester won. Like that was like a fascinating season, but now it's just getting kind of boring. Like, okay, City are winning again. Like, what else is new? Whatever. The thing that I was gonna say is like City and Chelsea, sorry, not City, Liverpool and Chelsea also have really key players going to AFCON.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mane and Salah going to AFCON for Liverpool, Mendy for Chelsea. Chelsea also have a ton of injuries, and it seems like City are just flying high. There's not much going wrong. You do need a bit of luck as well to have key players not get injured in order to win titles and compete for them. But I just see it being another City Premier League win, and hopefully next season we can see more competition.
I would love that. I'd literally love that. I honestly thought this year, because obviously a lot of the times people were saying that, you know, you guys just needed Lukaku basically, or a striker. You got that. So I was like, okay, Chelsea are going to be like on top form, won the Champions League, like they'll be great. Liverpool had everyone fit at the beginning of the season. There was no injuries. They seemed to strengthen a little bit with obviously like Kanate and things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be really good. Man City haven't signed a striker. Like that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
They don't even need it. It's so tiring. Like, why? Why don't you need a striker? Like, every team on earth needs a striker. Why don't you guys? Why don't you guys still win? It's so
like, imagine they had got Harry Kane. Like, that would have actually been.
That would have just been, no. They would just be like, the season would have been done in like December. Everyone would just be like, right, let's go, lads.
Like, even if they like Haaland, his contract, his release clause kicks in this summer, and I'm just thinking like if City get Haaland, like it's over again. It's still over. It's absolutely mad. But guys, I have to run, but I think that we did a pretty rough overview of the main fixtures, some key talking points for this game. Kendall, thanks as always for joining. Let everybody know where they can find you.
No, thank you. It's so nice to be back. Yeah, so this is obviously just my ads on everything. YouTube. Yes, you can. She always loves talking to Ellie at the end of the streams. Yeah, this is obviously Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch as well now. So yeah, just catch me over on there if you would like, and obviously on Ellie's channel as well every week.
Yes, every Monday we'll be back, promise, until the end of this season, I think there's like one international break in March, but other than that, there's a ton of football. You guys can follow me along. You see all of the socials along the bottom, so you can follow me there. Make sure to follow Kendall as well. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that it was useful. Let us know what your goal of the week was, your game of the week, even though I think we know this one. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day or evening, whatever you're watching this. And until next time, we're out.